Hello, beautiful vegans. Welcome to Empowered Vegans, the show that inspires and empowers vegans to live their best lives. I'm your host, Mariquita Solis. I'm a vegan empowerment coach. And every week I feature leading experts in the vegan and plant-based world that share inspirational stories, practical tips, and empowering conversations. My mission is to support a vegan community in living the best, fulfilling, joyful life that they can have, making a positive impact on this world. And as a transformational coach, I also offer coaching programs, one-on-one and group coachings to help vegans navigate challenges and create a life that aligns with their values. So I'm excited to welcome everybody who's watching. Please let us know. Give StreamYard permission to use your name, and you'll find that at the top of the post. If you go down, all the way at the bottom, it'll say, click here to give StreamYard permission to use your name. And we're going to have today my beautiful friend who's very wise and very empathetic, Peg Haust-Arliss. She's a psychotherapist, author, and coach. And we work together in the We Did It community too, really working hard to change lives. So we've got her presentation up here and we're really excited. So welcome, Peg. Tell us about you.
Thank you, Marquita. I'm so happy to be here. And I've been following you for a while now, and you are such a rock star. So thank you for having me.
Thanks, Peg.
So I have a presentation today, and I'm going to introduce myself after I introduce the talk today. My welcome to Fear to Freedom. Freedom Fitness is my program based on my book, and it's strength training for mind, body, and spirit. And this talk is mental fitness from self-sabotage to self-mastery. So today we're going to talk about showing up as a compassionate humanitarian that you know you are, and the vegan leader you know you need to be. But you might be struggling to do that. And if that resonates with you, you're in the right place. So I'm going to ask you this question. Are you a reluctant vegan leader? What does that mean? You might struggle with fears, self-doubt, lack of confidence, imposter syndrome, if you've ever heard that term, to the point where you have stalled your dreams or goals or have actually given up on them altogether. You might feel you are meant for something more. You have this feeling, there's more in me to give, but you are too afraid to try. Or you do try, but you end up self-sabotaging your progress. So if you can resonate to that, you're in the right place. Because you know what, guys? It's time to rise and shine. As vegans, we cannot stay small. We can't. We got to rise and shine. So I hope to be a part of helping you do that, to having us do that together as a vegan community. So who am I? A little bit about me. My name is Peg Haust-Arliss. I am a New York State licensed clinical social worker. I'm also a certified cognitive therapist, holistic health coach, positive intelligence coach, and an aroma freedom practitioner. And my timeline as far as my work, I've been a therapist since 1999 in an agency, a mental health agency. And in 2006, I broke out and went to be a private practitioner and in my own practice. And I named that Fear to Freedom Holistic Psychotherapy Coaching. I wrote a book, and I am the author of Anxiety Breakthrough, Breakout of Fear Breakthrough to Freedom, which tells my story of anxiety and how I struggled with debilitating anxiety and how I broke free from that. And I also am the creator of Freedom Fitness, strength training for mind, body, and spirit, based on my book. So that is me. And I also personally started a group called Flavor, Finger Lakes Area Vegan Organization on Facebook. And the reason I did that is because where I'm from upstate New York. And I am in the middle of vegan meccas. To the right of me, to the left of me, to the east of me is Syracuse, New York. They got all kinds of vegan stuff going on. To the west of me is Rochester, which is a vegan rock star place, right? There's so much Rochester can offer. To the south of me is Ithaca, and you might be familiar with Ithaca. There's so much going on there. I'm right in the middle of all that, like an hour in every direction, and there's nothing. It is a vegan desert. Rural. It is a rural area. And so I started Flavor as to bring us rural vegans together in a community. And so I started that, and then eventually it became a plant pure community. You might have heard of those. Plant Pure. So I linked that with them, and so that's really exciting. And as of late, recently, I'm also part-time employee for Rochester Lifestyle Medicine Institute as a facilitator. That is my professional criteria there.
Well, that's wonderful. I'd like to ask a question about the what is it? Rochester? What is it? Rochester?
I know it's a mouthful, isn't it? Rochester Lifestyle Medicine Institute, RLMI.
Okay, yeah. So who runs that?
Dr. Veggie, Dr. Ted Barnett.
Okay.
Yep, you might have heard. Yep, he's a familiar name. So Dr. Veggie, he calls himself, and he has really been wonderful in creating Rochester Lifestyle Medicine about, I think it was 2015. And that has just taken off, and it's such an empowering mission to transform from the medical-based only model to a more lifestyle model, and helping people get healthy with lifestyle medicine, which is really the answer.
That's wonderful. I met him a couple of times. So and I wanted to know more about that. I've been very curious about that organization. So it's a small world. Well, the universe, you know how the universe works.
Yeah, please. So yes, to learn more about them, just Rochester Lifestyle Medicine Institute.org, I think it is. And there's all kinds of programs. Check it out. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
All right.
So thank you for asking about that. I would like to tell a little bit about my vegan journey. So my vegan journey, first of all, I have to say that I believe we're all born vegans. That's my way I think about it. And that our society and, our culture has made us believe we're carnivores, but we're really born vegan. That's my approach anyway. That's how I see it. And I started my journey as a child, right? I wasn't a vegan, but I was a vegan in my heart. And you can see here with my lovely animal creatures here. I'm my little friend Ricky, raccoon, and my puppy. And you can see in the middle, my dad. I was so blessed to have parents. I mean, look at that picture of my dad. He's got Ricky on his shoulder.
Oh my gosh.
That's a man right there, right? And I was so blessed to have parents that nurtured that. And I've had all kinds of animals growing up, from raccoons to chickens to mice to everything. So that is part one of my vegan journey, just loving animals so much. And then part two of my vegan journey is the picture on the left. That was a fateful day. My husband and I was in my 20s. We were in our 20s. And we took a day trip to Farm Sanctuary. So you might have heard of Farm Sanctuary in Watkins Glen. And we took a trip there, and we didn't know it at the time, but we walked out of there never eating meat again. And so that was the second part of my vegan journey, and my husband's too, but it was a transition. We were vegetarians and junk food vegans for the longest time. And then the picture on the right starts the third chapter of my vegan journey, where there was a trifecta of things going on. I turned 40. My sister Ann on the right died of brain cancer. And my dad on the left struggled with crippling rheumatoid arthritis and uncontrolled type 1 diabetes. And he died not long after Ann. And so that propelled me. again, unexpectedly, tragedy turned into a gift and an opportunity, because that propelled me to look at myself at 40 years old and say, what am I going to do? And I took my diet to the next level, and I didn't know anything then, but that's when I got started on my vegan journey. As far as I became a holistic health coach, I went to Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and this has been going on now for 20 years. This was about 20 years ago. I was 40, I'm almost 60 now. And so the past 10 years has really been into diving into how to be a healthy vegan for your body. And more recently, 2021, is I had another divine intervention. I had an opportunity to sit in on a Rochester Lifestyle Medicine Jumpstart program. We're going to mention them again. And 2 months later, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. So again, I know, again, I think that was divine intervention, divine timing. I found the gift and the opportunity in that, because Rochester Lifestyle Medicine's Jumpstart program, right at that time, propelled me to even increase, my diet even better. I was already, flirting with, no oil, less preservatives, and that I was already doing that. But that program just eliminated the symptoms that I have been struggling with up to that point. And I also will say that I am med free from RA, and I've always have been. And my theory is that it's because I've been a vegan since my 20s. Even though it wasn't a perfect diet, I still believe that it was enough for me to not have the crippling anxiety at this point as my dad did. Now, there's no really way to test that, but I'm going to trust that theory, right? So my vegan journey and my mission always is to empower people and save animals. So that's why I do what I do.
Well, I mean, that's amazing. And that's the way that the journey unfolds. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who's going to change our lives. I mean, what animals might, or what diseases, what health issues might turn us on a different path.
That's for sure. Yep. So what is next? So now there's a presentation on Freedom Fitness. Now, my program, Freedom Fitness, I talk about a holistic approach. And Freedom Fitness means strength training in 3 key areas. Key 1, inspire your mind. Key 2, invigorate your body. And key 3, ignite your spirit. Today, we're going to focus on just key 1, inspire your mind. And that comes from the positive intelligence coaching that I've had training in and certification in. Key 1, inspire your mind. Really quickly, the definition is your capacity to respond to life's challenges with a positive rather than a negative mindset. The impact of that is peak performance, peace of mind, and healthy relationships. Key 2 we move into is invigorating your body. So key 1, we're going to do the mental fitness, the thoughts, the beliefs, the perceptions, and knowing how to think right. That might sound funny, but literally teaching you how to think right. And then we move into invigorate your body, which is, even though mindset is extremely important and vital, it's not enough. You need to take care of your body. You need to take care of your physical body with healthy food, fun movement, and limiting exposure to toxins, environmental toxins. So we talk all about that. And the impact of that is sustained energy, restful sleep. It's a roadmap for optimal health and manageable stress. And then as we are doing the mindset stuff and learning, taking care of our body in that way, we're automatically igniting our spirit. But this segment in my program really focuses in on the food, the primary food of life, not what we put into our mouth, but the food that feeds our spirit. And for me, we talk about relationships, we talk about goals and dreams, and the things that ignite your spirit, your true self that you might have been playing small with, waking that authentic true self up. So that is mind, body, and spirit, how I work and how I work with my clients in my programs and in my individual therapies. Today, like I said, we're going to talk about mental fitness. And that is, again, the definition. How to grow. We're going to talk about how to grow the 3 core mental muscles to thrive in challenging times. And this work is from Shirzad Chamine. I'm going to talk about him in a minute. But again, the definition is your capacity to respond to life's challenges with positive rather than negative mindset. And the impact is peak performance, peace of mind, and healthy relationships. And his research, Shirzad's research, comes from key areas of recent discoveries in positive psychology, performance science, neuroscience, and my favorite, cognitive behavioral psychology, and that forms positive intelligence, the whole program. And so his research includes results from hundreds of CEOs and their executive teams, Stanford students, world-class athletes, 500,000 participants from over 50 countries, and many YPO families and forums. And his research can be summarized in his best-selling book, Positive Intelligence. You can find that on positiveintelligence.org, I think. And he uses the power of factor analysis. So for you research geeks out there, just really quickly, he uses factor analysis, which discovers the root cause. And it results in radical simplification. So that's why this is so great, because we get to the root. And just for an example, the root of 1,000 colors are only 3 factors: red, blue, and green, right? The same is true for mental fitness. In mental fitness, there's only 3 core muscles. And those 3 core muscles at the root are saboteur interceptor, the sage, and self-command. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So it turns out we all have 10 saboteurs and 5 sage powers. We all have this. And it's really interesting to understand how both of them drive us, okay, in our day-to-day lives. And we're going to start with the saboteur interceptor, which is the judge. Okay, take a look at that judge. I know.
I have that. Yeah.
We all have a judge. And think about the judge as that internal, harsh critic. Okay. The judge sounds like, you can't achieve that. Why are you even trying? You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not skinny enough. You're not old enough. You're too young. It's that harsh, self-critical judge that we all have. Okay. In cognitive therapy, we call that a core belief. And core beliefs are I am statements. I am not smart enough. I am not, and it's the same thing. So, if it was just the judge we had to fight, we could probably do that with our sage. We'll talk about the sage. But the judge, though, he doesn't play fair. He rallies up an army of saboteurs. So he's not alone. He rallies up his accomplice armies of saboteurs. And this makes it very, very hard. And so there's 9 saboteurs. So the judge is the major hammer. And then these accomplice saboteurs are things like the controller. See if you recognize yourself. Hyperachiever, restless, stickler. Oh, that's a common one. The pleaser, hypervigilant, the avoider, bag over the head. I love that. The victim, and the hyper rational. So these are the saboteurs that the judge uses as his accomplice army. And so what we've done is we've created by we, I mean Positive Intelligence, Shirzad, and in that team. They've developed an assessment where you can take a test. It's so fun. And you can find out which saboteurs are messing with you the most. And so you can see James here. His controller is in the lead, and it's so small here. The avoider, the hypervigilant, and the pleaser are all tied for second place. And then it falls down to the other ones. And so I want to take a look at a common one like the stickler. And that's a common saboteur. And this is what a stickler might look like. It might look like perfectionism. It might look like you can't get anything done. This affects me, and I can't write an email. A short little email could take me so long. That's your stickler.
I see that in a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not ever good enough. So there's perfectionism and a need for order and organization. It says here, characteristics could be punctual, methodical, perfectionistic. And in your emotions, it can affect you and cause irritability, feeling tense, opinionated, being sarcastic, highly critical of yourself and others, a strong need for self-control and self-restraint, highly sensitive to criticism, works overtime to make up for others' sloppiness and laziness. You might have beliefs or thoughts such as right is right, wrong is wrong. I know what the right way is. If you can't do it perfectly, don't do it at all. All these are stickler talking. Okay. And so we want to look at this as a saboteur. Okay. So the thing is, here's the thing. Our saboteurs motivate us through negative emotions, and our sage, which we have yet to talk about, motivates us through positive emotions. And emotions for the saboteurs are things like fear and stress and anger and guilt and shame and insecurity. When you're feeling those emotions, you can bet your saboteurs and that judge is having their way with you. And the sage motivates you through positive emotions and empathy for yourself and others, curiosity, creativity, passion, and purpose. Okay, so that's the difference. And the saboteurs might generate success, but not happiness, whereas the sage generates success, but sustained happiness. That's the difference. So before I knew any of this, right, when I was, one of mine is high achiever. I mean, can you tell by all the stinking certifications I have? That is high achiever. Yeah. But see, I was motivated by fear because the judge says you're not smart enough to go to college. I didn't go to college till I was 30 because my judge had a hold on me saying you're not smart enough, but my sage was calling me. I didn't call it that then at the time, but I was like, I gotta go. I have to go to college. And that was my sage or my higher purpose calling me like, you gotta go. And I did, and I went, and it was, well, if I could get an A in every class, then I'll be smart enough. So it pushed me. My saboteur, my high achiever saboteur said, you have to get A's in every single class. You have to be a stickler with everything you do. That created some happiness. I achieved it, but I was stressed out. I was in full-blown panic mode. That's why I'm an anxiety specialist, by the way, because I suffered severe panic attacks during that time, especially. My judge and my saboteurs had me big time.
This is very, very interesting. I love that they might generate success, but not happiness, because so many times we think once we've got the certificate, oh, well, now I'll be happy. And then it's like, well, now we've got to do something else. It's never enough, that never enough complex. And so, yeah, very, very interesting here.
Yes, yes. So empowering way to think about it, and simple. It gets to the root and simplifies is the whole process. So we're talking about, like, you might have a question. Well, aren't those negative things good for you? Like if it wasn't for my high achiever, I never would have, accomplished all that. Right. So you might be, I need my stickler. It helps me, do things really well. Well, let me ask you this. We hear that all the time. Is pain good for you? So think about that for a moment. Is pain good for you?
I think pain is good. That, yes, I was going to say, because if you don't have pain, you'll burn your hand off. Exactly, right?
Yeah, so it's a great metaphor, right?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Yes, pain is good for you. Those negative emotions are important message. They have important messages, but they're only helpful as an alert signal. They're only there to alert you. Staying in a negative emotion hurts your ability to see clearly and respond with empathy, curiosity, creativity, and laser focused action, which is all sage. So negative emotion equals, yes, good. There's an alert. There's an important message. Take heed. Let your emotions be your guide and take heed of the message of the emotion. Saboteur is you're living in it.
Wow, that's very interesting. And yeah, that's what I see. Like the message, right? The negative emotion is life telling you turn, right? Time to shift, right? And so a lot of times we're not listening to those signals, right? And then you'd be living in that negative emotion, right? Living on the speed bump. Like, I got stuck here. Now, I mean, instead of moving forward, I'm just stuck on the speed bump, and not going anywhere.
I love that stuck on the speed bump metaphor. Absolutely. And that is your judge and your saboteurs holding you back, And so that's what this is all about, is how to get beyond that stuckness. So then comes the sage. That's the second core muscle. The sage lives in the region of the brain associated with positive emotions, peace and calm, clear-headed focus, creativity, all that good stuff. Big picture. And it operates from the sage perspective. So the judge is alerting you with an emotion that may or may not be your helpful thing, but then you're living in it. So it's like you pulled your fire alarm. Oh no. And then your anxiety comes, says, where's the fire? And you keep pulling your own fire alarm, right? So the sage lives in the area of the brain that is not your amygdala. That's your fight or flight. That's where amygdala, but which is what we need, but only for a minute. Your sage is in that calm part of your brain where calm, cool-headedness lives. It's activating the part of your brain that knows the answer. It knows the answer. All the answers are within you. Okay, that's the part of the brain it lives in. And it operates on the sage perspective. And the sage perspective is that every outcome or circumstance can be turned into a gift or opportunity. And we use the 5 sage powers for that.
I love it. Yes. I mean, that's when, well, which a lot of people might not believe, but the answers, you are the solution. The answers lie in yourself. Are you able to uncloud your vision and open up to them? Or, are you going to just close your eyes and not open your heart up to see the answers, that are like your soul, your perfect soul knows. So can you tune into that?
Exactly. And Marquita, you're in sage right now because you can do that. When you're in sage mode, you can have, that's what it is. It's open-hearted. And amygdala is fight or flight, push, 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 motivate, And yes, so sage is like, oh my God, just listen. Just listen. The answers are right there. And as far as everything can be turned into a gift or opportunity, I was kind of alluding to that earlier when I was telling my story. Witnessing what I witnessed and learning about what I learned at Farm Sanctuary, taking the red pill out of the meat matrix, as I say, was not fun, but there was a gift there and an opportunity to wake up and realize and wake up to veganism. And then the other example I gave was when my sister died and my father was so sick and he eventually died. That was tragic. But it woke me up and it said, oh no. So I there was a gift or opportunity there, but I didn't see it like that at the time. And haven't you ever had that experience where it happens all the time where it's like, oh my God, I would never want to experience that again. But you know what? I needed that to happen to me.
Right, because it led to wisdom. Yeah, and I love we don't, I mean, a lot of times we want to know the answer. Why is this happening? Why? But if we just let it, I mean, let everything just settle, our eyes will be opened. And then also to talk about what you're saying here, like there's so many times we try to think our way out of things. It's like, I got to think this through. I got to figure it out. And we turn off the feelings and just allowing, the allowing of the sage to see what will be revealed. And the overthinking, overthinking can be good if we're thinking to support ourselves, but it's that overthinking that's negative. Like, I've got to fix this now, which is, is that, saboteur, which I call that inner those tyrants, right? That insist it must be done now. And how can you do anything when you're in that level of anxiety, right? Of that pressure that shuts off creativity, and that anxiety shuts off growth. So yeah, I really resonate with all of this, Peg.
Absolutely. Awesome. Yes. And so this leads us to self-command, the third core muscle. And instead of explaining it to you, I'm going to take you through a practice. So did I forget to do this? I think I did. So I'm going to back up. In the beginning of our segment, I wanted to ask you all, and I forgot to ask you, so I'm going to ask you now. I wanted to ask you all to think about a time when you did have a regret. That is there something you resonate here with? Is there something you're trying to achieve, but you've been procrastinating? Is there a dream that you've let go? Is there something like that you can think of right now? And I want you to think about why you think that happened to you. What were the reasons? And I really want you to feel that a little bit. I'll give you a second to think about a time recently or long ago where you didn't accomplish something you wanted to accomplish, and you're kind of maybe feeling disappointed. And I want you to bring that up a little bit and actually feel it. Not at a 10, not where, level 10, you're going to, have a panic attack about it, but maybe at a little, like a 5. So if you can kind of bring that up. Okay. All right. And now what we're going to do is a 1-minute PQ rep. And a PQ rep is the essence of the mental fitness. It's what we do to build that muscle, to clear out the saboteurs and get to that sage. Okay. So here's what a PQ rep is. If you can just get comfortable in your chair, I'm going to take you through a little 1-minute exercise. So go ahead and get comfortable in your chair. Close your eyes if you're comfortable doing that. And you can do PQ reps in a number of different ways. You can do them with any or all of your senses. So I'm just going to take you through the sense of touch and the sense of just getting grounded here. So close your eyes if you're comfortable and really rest yourself into your chair and feel the weight of your body into your seat of your chair. And take a nice, easy breath in. Then a nice, easy breath out. Again, a nice, easy breath in. Easy breath out. And now take your hands and take your fingertips and put them together and try to feel with such a tension. Rub your fingertips together with such a tension that you can almost feel the ridges on your hands. Just put all your focus on the sensation of touch. And then take your hands and just bring them all the way up and down, feeling all the sensations as you move your hands up and down against each other, palm to palm, fingertips to palm. Just notice every sensation of that touch. Now go ahead and rest your hands on your lap. And if you notice any tension in your shoulders, just kind of roll your shoulders Shake it off anywhere you might notice some tension residually. Now we're going to take another nice deep breath in, but this time we're going to relax our facial muscle and put a little curve up. Put a little smile on those lips. Just gentle smile as you breathe in. You can even look up, gently looking up. Nice, easy breath out. Just notice what is happening. Notice what is happening to your emotions. Notice what is happening to the sensations in your body. Notice what is happening with your thoughts. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And that was a 1-minute PQ rep session. What did you notice? I want to ask you, Marquita, did you get yourself into a level 5 kind of feeling? And then what happened when I took you through that PQ session?
Yeah, I was on a level 5, definitely. And then everything shifted. I feel very peaceful, very calm. Very more able to handle life.
Yeah, that is the essence of and the simplicity of the operating system. If you're feeling a negative emotion, catch it. You may be in saboteur mode. Do some PQ reps to quiet your saboteurs, calm down that amygdala, and activate the part of your brain where your sage is, your wisdom is.
What does PQ stand for?
Positive. It's like IQ is intelligence quotient. PQ is positive quotient. It's PQ rep. So you want to do some PQ reps to quiet that amygdala down, activate your sage, and assume the sage perspective so that every problem can be converted to a gift or opportunity. In the sage perspective, the answers are in the 5 sage powers. And in my work with you, or we get more into all of this. I mean, I just gave you a brief synopsis, but the answers can become found in these 5 sage powers of empathy for yourself and others, innovating, exploring, navigating, and then activating. Right. So that's, you activate the sage and then you figure it out using your 5 sage powers. And you generate the gift by using those 5 sage powers. So that's the simplicity of the operating system. And so again, the 3 core muscles, saboteur interceptor muscle, your saboteurs generate your negative emotions, your stress, your anxiety, your self-doubt. Those are your saboteurs. Okay. The self-command muscle is that your way of boosting your ability to command your mind. It's mental fitness, just like physical fitness, right? It's commanding your mind this time, not your body, but commanding your mind to quiet the saboteur region, amplify your sage region. Using simple daily exercises, PQ reps, you will learn to run your brain rather than allow your saboteur hijacked brain to run you. You are empowering yourself. You are taking that power. And then your sage muscle is the one in you that handles the challenges with a clear and calm mind, that positive emotion, and it also has access to your 5 primary powers. For peak performance, you will learn to boost all 5 powers and know when to use which power. So then you might have a question. Is it really possible to just shift from saboteur to sage response, even in tough challenges? The answer is yes, but the speed and depth of the shift depends on mental muscle strength. Because what we did today, we did insight, and change is 20% insight. Have you ever been to a conference and you got all fired up? It's like you learned so much and you were all raring to go, but then after a while, it kind of dropped off. That's because it's probably just the insight part, the intellectual part. Oh yeah, I know this. I understand this. And by the way, your judge might be playing with you right now and saying, I already know this stuff, right? That's your judge. That is your, right? And so we need to understand but it's only 20%. You can understand physical fitness. You can understand that you need to go to the gym, you need to move your body, you need to work out. But if you don't do it, you're not going to get anywhere. 20% insight, right? So 20%, I know I got to do it. That's insight. 80%, you got to work the muscles. And so how do we do this? Success requires intense initial practice. So for my program, PQ program, it's 15 minutes a day for 6 to 8 weeks. And that's what my program's all about. And if you're, we don't have to get into that, but if you're interested, here's my contact information, and I will leave it at that. You can take that assessment at positiveintelligence.com, that saboteur assessment. You'll be prompted to take the assessment. You'll get a series of 10 emails from them, which are really great. I think there's only like 10. They're not from me. It's from Positive Intelligence. And it'll give you some nice tips. But I won't get that. I won't get your assessment results. So if you want to email me your results, I would love to hear from you. If you're live now, if you're watching the recording and you go do this, email me your results. There's my email address. And if you really are interested in getting started with the 8-week PQ bootcamp, schedule a 15-minute time with me, go to my website and sign up for my newsletter. And you'll also get a free excerpt from my book, by the way, if you do that. So I'll leave that up. We'll chat.
Okay, great. Yeah. I'm going to go do the positive intelligence assessment. I'll be interested in seeing,
Yeah.
it would be interesting. What's interesting is like if you do it, if I could have done it 20 years ago compared to today, you know what I mean?
Oh, right. Yep.
Yeah. To see how it all plays out, the journey, of shifting, right? So someone is saying, let's see. Absolutely. This applies to learning music too. People never realize the importance of carefully crafted muscle memory.
Absolutely. I agree. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, definitely. And then JJ saying that she, she basically, I have a BS in psych, so I love this topic. Yeah. So this is very, very interesting to explore. The way that our minds work and not to feel like victims anymore, that we can take action and we don't have to be stuck.
Right. Victim is actually one of those saboteurs. People get stuck in victim mode.
And so what is appealing about victim mode? What would you say?
Oh, what is appealing about it? It becomes our excuse not to. One of the things about it becomes our excuse not to. It's a lot of self-empathy, but in the wrong direction. Right?
You're right. Explain that. Would you, Meg? How is it in the wrong direction?
Well, because it keeps you in victim mode. If you are in victim mode and if you are in, it's not my fault, life's been giving me hard breaks. I don't, only the lucky ones get to steal the show. That's a line from Loverboy.
Right.
I use it as like, I'm powerless.
Yep, exactly what JJ just said. You have no control, right? And can I take this off now? The slides so I can see. So I hope everybody got that information. But we can always reach out to us, and so the victim mode I see a lot with vegans. That this nobody wants to listen to me when I deliver the message. Everybody gets angry, and so what would you say to that? What I would say is like the signs are there. If people are getting angry, that's a sign of the delivery it's not hitting the mark, right? That, if people are getting angry, so that's life showing you the anger, right? Is saying something's not right here. So what would you say about that?
Yeah. So in keeping it with the saboteurs, what can happen is in communication with people, your saboteur is triggering their saboteur, you're triggering each other's saboteurs. And that's a battle. But if you are in sage, you're going to be protected. You're not going to be affected by their saboteur coming at you. You're in sage mode. You're protected. Does that
That's very interesting. Yeah, it does. And so what would you say?
So it doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter because you're in sage mode. You'll be able to respond in a sage way, which is the 5 sage power.
What would that be? What's the behavior of a sage way? Let's say I go meet someone and I'd say, would you like to know about, I see you love vegetables and fruits. I'm a vegan, would you like to know about that? And they say, I don't want to hear about that. Why are you putting your, or they get defensive and they say, why are you trying to shove your ideas down my throat? What would what would the sage say then? What would be the behavior of a sage?
Yeah. So if I wasn't in sage, I'd say, sorry, F you, right? Sorry, I'm here. But if I'm in my sage, then I'm going to say, oh, I'm so sorry. It's all right. No worries.
And so what's the sage think of that? So what's the thoughts of the sage compared to the thoughts of the saboteur?
Peace, compassion, empathy for self, empathy for others. People are doing the best they can with what they have.
So what does that mean? So let me stop you there. So I hear, so I was talking to a friend of mine. And so when I said that, people do the best they can. And so there was some kind of we just had a little talk about that. But what do you mean by that? So, but they could do better. They could be vegan, when like they realize that vegan is helping the world. But so when I'm hearing that they can do the best they can, but they could do more. So why is it that you're saying they're doing the best they can?
Yeah. Are you familiar with Brene Brown?
Yes.
I watched an interview. This answers the question beautifully. I watched an interview. She was being interviewed by, I can't remember his name, but she was telling a story about her recent research, and she presented that question to, I think it was a bunch of pastors or something. And she said, do you think people are doing the best they can? And there was a variety of answers. No, yes, no, people can do better. That was the majority of the answer. People are not doing the best they can. People can do better. And so it was fortunate that she was talking to a bunch of pastors, because she said, well, what if God came down and whispered in your ear and said, they kind of are doing the best they can? What would happen to your thought about that? When I heard that, when she framed it that way, I got tears in my eyes, because it's like, yes, that's so true. People are doing the best they can for where they are now, for what they got, for the resources, for the mindset, for the saboteurs, playing with them. They're doing the best they can for where they are now, for what they got. So how can I not knowing that, how can I not respond in a way that is unaffected? Because I believe that. I took that and I said, yeah, well, that is true.
I believe it too, because I really believe where they are, like you're saying, on their journey or in that mindset, right? It could be the mindset of saboteur. And if you're in the mindset of saboteur, you're not functioning at an optimum level. So you can only do so much. However, if you're in the mindset of a sage, then your behaviors are going to be different. So yes, and a lot of people are beating themselves up, and they have these beliefs like, well, I can't give up meat because that means that I'm going to be weak and unhealthy. So they think I've got to do the best I can because I've got to stay eating this meat, right? So what we see is different from what they see. And of course we can compare it to like, well, I see this clearly and it's the right way. Why can't they see the same way? But it's just not that way, because our journey is different. What we've seen in our lives have brought us to the mindset we're in. And even our mindset is always shifting, to this place in this minute. I mean, in a minute, I might be so angry, I'll be in a different mindset. I might be in the saboteur mindset. So that's the way I see it. And I was trying to explain it. So that's why I asked your explanation, which I love.
I mean, getting mad at somebody for not being on the same timeline is kind of, you know, I wasn't a vegan forever. There was a time I wasn't a vegan, you know, and there a lot of people aren't vegans because their time will come. I'm hopeful that their time will come. And so in the meantime, I'm going to just empower people in the best way I know how in the meantime.
So what about this? This is what I hear also. We don't have time to waste. We need them to switch now, and it's all good, and you're making excuses for them. This is what I hear, you know, people saying to me, stop being so gentle or stop being so compassionate to these people. You know, you're making excuses. What would you say to that?
It's all saboteur. That's all saboteur. Remember, the saboteurs can reach some success. You know, so maybe you'll change somebody's mind. I don't really see how, but maybe you'll change somebody's mind, maybe. But you're going to get far more with sugar than what's that saying? You know that saying?
I know about the honey, the bees and the honey.
Yeah. I mean, because that's stressful. That is unnecessary versus necessary emotions, right? So that anger's a good, useful emotion. It means that somebody is overstepping their boundary with you. So that means you have to protect yourself. But somebody not being a vegan is not hurting you. So
why are we taking it personally?
So it's right. So that's the saboteur. So anger is a great emotion. It means that somebody has overstepped their boundary and you need to protect yourself from that. So certainly do that. But anger is not meant to be lived in. It's not meant to be lived in. Once you are living in that emotion, it's wrecking you. It's wrecking your mind, body, and spirit. It's depleting you. It's creating depletion, and you will not be able to be the vegan you need to be. That's my whole point of my talk. Be the vegan leader you need to be. Strong, healthy, you know, not depleted and angry. There is a place for, I have been on the holding the pickets in the pickets lines. I've been doing that. I've done that. You know, there's a place for that, right?
Yeah.
There's a place for that. But,
this is so important.
Yeah.
You're saying.
It doesn't mean you don't have fire and passion. There's a huge difference between fire and passion and anger and angry aggression, you know?
Yeah, and that's the opposite of what we want to show people. We don't want to show them anger because they're not going to want to be like, they're not going to want to be someone like we are. Like, I don't want to be angry and mad all the time. If that's what a vegan is, I don't want to be like that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean,
but there's a place for anger too.
Right. But not always, like you're saying. We don't want to live in it continually. We want it. I mean, we want to take it and learn from it and transform it. You know, what can we do with this anger? You know, how can I accept it? How can I allow it? And then what is the real lesson here?
Right. And if you remember that the purpose of anger is somebody has overstepped their bounds with you, broken their healthy boundaries with you, there's a necessary need for you to protect yourself in whatever way, you know. Hey, back off. I mean, you know, and that's okay. We need that. But to live in it is destroying your mind, body, and spirit. And we don't want that. We want to be strong vegans to support a better world, empower people, and save animals.
Right. And there's many different ways to do this. I mean, like one is your program, right? And so with like my program, we're focusing on the same things, but in different ways, you know, with the vegan empowerment that I do, the coaching one-on-one. So, I mean, whoever's watching, whoever you can get help from, right? Whether it's Peg, me, or even June. You know, June has programs. Even, you know, Dr. Angela Crawford has programs. You know, the issue is here getting help. So you're not living in these states, you know. But we have a lot of people that are out there willing to help. If you need more intense programs, you know, where this has really been just taking over your life and you don't know what to do about it, then really reach out and get some help. It's not, who can sleep at night with anxiety continually running and anger running and being mad at the world?
Yeah. And my specialty really is the anxiety piece. My specialty is working with those people who are not so much angry as scared to step up and into their own light. I'm not smart enough, but why, I don't have anything important to do or say. I help people more because that's been my experience,
Mm-hmm.
to not own that power and let others shine brighter and over, and just me hide, and that kind of empowerment.
Right. So anxiety, yes, yeah.
I'm not smart enough. I can't, I'm not worthy enough to do that. It's other people, not me, panic attacks, anxiety, like, oh, scared, can't do it. That really tends to be my specialty. Imposter syndrome, not feeling you're enough and not acting on that because of that.
Yeah, my heart goes out to all those people that are believing that, that they don't have a voice. We need you to have a voice for the animals, for our planet, for your health. I mean, people need you. So just knowing that you're enough right now as you are in this moment, and loving that is so important. Knowing and celebrating yourself. So many times we forget to celebrate ourselves to where we are today.
Yes, definitely.
So yes, well, this has been a wonderful almost hour that we were coming to the end of, Peg. So tell us again, your final thoughts, where everybody can get a hold of you.
Yes. So peghouse.com right there. If you go there, you'll find information about me, my programs, and anything you need to know. Oh, and flavor, if you're in the Finger Lakes area of upstate New York, or you want to visit there, find me on Facebook. There's a flavor Facebook group there. I got a Facebook page for my business. I think that is Life Coach Peg.
Wonderful. Well, everybody, please subscribe to my channel. And Peg, do you have a channel or on YouTube or anything? Anywhere?
I have an old one that that I think I want to resurrect.
All
So
right.
yes, and I think that there's a link to my YouTube channel from peghouse.com too.
All right. Well, we'll help you resurrect that channel. We can't wait to see that rebirth. So thanks so much, everybody. And thanks, Peg. This has been very informative. I love hearing about the mind, and it really opens up to new possibilities. There's always hope. And I hope everyone has learned that lesson, that you are the solution.
Yes. Thank you so much, Marquita, for having me again. Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.